I'm Rick, and I'm at Kangaroo Island. Kangaroo Island's a great place to go spearfishing, and it's a great place to have a holiday. I've only been here a few times, and I don't claim any particular expertise, but I've learned a few things. It's an island. You can see the mainland from the shore, but it's a good few kilometres away. The island's only accessible by boat. I came by car ferry. Cost you a few $100s. It's a big island. It's over 150 kilometres long. There's a massive amount of coastline. My guess is somewhere over 400 kilometres of it. To get to some places, you have to travel good long distances. It's remote. Here, in 2024, I was paying somewhere around about 20 cents more per litre of diesel than I was paying back on the mainland. The road infrastructure is poor. Whilst there are a few tarred roads, there's also a lot of limestone roads and quite a few dirt roads. If anything can rattle loose in your car, it will. There's a lot of roadkill, most of it's kangaroos, so you want to be very careful about driving around at dawn or dusk. Don't expect showers or drinking water at most of the places you go to. Shops and convenience stores are few and far between. There's a variety of boat ramps. Some are pretty primitive, but some of them are first rate. Surprisingly, there's a lot of charges for e-cars. A good knowledge of the fisheries rules and regulations is required. There's a lot of Commonwealth and state reserved areas, and you need to know where they are before you go in the water with a spear gun. There are closed seasons for fish, and there are minimum sizes. There are fisheries inspectors, and they do check you. There's potentially hazardous marine life. That's great whites, seals, and possibly even killer whales. An encounter with one of them can ruin your entire day. In the water, it's not too dissimilar from Victoria. The water might be a bit clearer, and I think it was a degree or so cooler than Victoria. But the clarity's good. The southern side of the island's more exposed, and you get larger swells. On the north coast, like here, there are rocky headlands interspersed with sandy bays. The reef under the rocky headlands provides good structure, good for fish. There are also bays that are quite shallow. They're protected. Nepean Bay is adjacent to the town of Kingscote. It's a shallow bay, mainly sandy, and there's a whole lot of seagrass meadows on the bottom. When the wind blows from the west, the bay is protected, and the water's quite clear. You can find snook, you can find scallops, you can find whiting, and you can find sea dragons here. Probably find a flathead too. Many of the fish species here are the same as those found in Victoria. You've got snapper, you've got snook, you've got all the usual suspects. But you've also got other species. I've seen queen snapper, and I've been looking for but haven't quite found a harlequin. And if you just want to look, there's a local variety of sea dragon, very ornate. With all this coastline, you could spend a decade or more just searching out all the different spots. But there are some that are more obvious. If you have a boat, your options increase significantly. What sort of wedding? Well, in early autumn, now, I was wearing a 5mm top and a 3mm set of legs, and that would keep me warm for 2.5 hours. But when I was laying on the bottom in about 15 metres of water, I could feel the cold sneaking in around my shoulders. The most robust species that you're likely to encounter here would be kingfish. So if you're going to do some spearfishing, you want to make your gear strong enough to handle a king, should you have the chance to shoot one. The water's clear, so a long-range gun's nice, but there's a bit of work around reef too, so you don't want something too long and too hard to manoeuvre. I reckon a gun with a stock length of about 1.1, 1.2 with a 7mm spear and 1 or 2 rubbers should be just about right, or an equivalent roller. I had 15 metres of cord on my float, and I found that in a few cases the water was deeper than that, and I would have liked to have had another 2 or 3 metres on the end of that line. A boat float would probably be good too, just in case you encounter a seal that wants to take your fish, or fishy sort of smells leaking into the water might attract a big great white. There's some big fish here, and there's some nice bloody species. The habitat looks good, but the actual good fish are few and far between. What I was doing was I'd get in the water and I'd swim and I'd swim and I'd swim till I found a fishy looking spot with a few leather jackets sitting around and a few other small fish. Then I'd stop and I'd work that area. Yep, I like Kangaroo Island. A bit expensive, a lot of travel, but I'll be back.